recently reviewed one of the most affordable Fujifilm cameras and one of the easiest ways to get into street photography, the Fujifilm X-E1. So if you're coming to this video from that review, or you recently got one of these, or you had the camera for a while and now you're wondering how to set it up for street or documentary photography, what settings to use, and how to shoot with it, then this video is for you. Hi friends, welcome back. If you are new here, my name is Jorge. On this channel we talk about photography and filmmaking, merging creativity and productivity to live a fulfilling life. And in today's video, we are setting up our Fujifilm X-E1 for street photography or documentary photography. I have made video guides for other Fujifilm cameras, as well as videos regarding my shooting style and my philosophy as well. I do recommend you check this one out in particular if you want to get into the nitty-gritty of how I shoot and why I shoot the way that I do. But to summarize it, I shoot with intentionality. That means manual mode, JPEG only, choosing my aspect ratios before I take a shot, choosing the right film simulation before I take a shot. I'm not gonna change a color photo to black and white later, nothing like that. And this is not an attack on people that do like to shoot that way. If you like to shoot in RAW and change your mind later, that's fine, there's nothing wrong with that. Whatever makes you happy, whatever makes you go out there and shoot, it's all good. But knowing or understanding how I shoot is fully reflected in the way that I set up my cameras. So now you know. Timestamps will be linked down below in case you'd like to skip to another chapter, but for now, let's get started. Before we start diving into menus, we need to make sure that we have the latest firmware installed. To check your current version, make sure you press and hold the display back button while you turn the camera on. This menu screen will pop up telling you what your current firmware number is. The latest version is 2.71. If you don't have the latest version, then head to the official Fujifilm website linked in the description of the video and follow the steps to download the new firmware, copy it to your SD card, and install it. If your battery dies while performing the update, it will break the camera and render it unusable. So please make sure you have a full battery and do not touch the power button while you're updating the camera, just to be safe. And once you do have the latest firmware installed, then we can proceed to the settings. I have done setup videos for the X100V, the original X100, the X Pro 1, and parts of those guys will apply to the X-E1 as well. So links in the description if you'd like to watch some of those videos. So we'll break this video down in 3 sections: the setup menu, the shooting menu, and the custom settings menu. Alright, time to start setting up the camera. If you just purchased the camera or you would like to follow along, then go to the setup menu, page number 1, and do a full reset. After that, in the setup menu, go to page number 3 and make sure you format the card. Okay, so we're gonna change some of these settings. Not all of them, I'm just gonna show you here. You can change the date and the time difference, your language. Silent mode, this is a must for me. I don't want the camera to make any sort of noise or sound or beeping and give me away basically in front of my subjects. So enable that. You can change here the EVF brightness or the actual LCD screen. You can change it both. Quick start mode is a good way to make the camera a little bit snappier when you turn it on. In case you just see something important and you want to capture it, that's a good way to do that. Auto power off, disable it. Operation volume is going to be off the moment you turn silent mode on, so that's good. Image display off, that way you're not chimping, it's not showing you the image after you take it and potentially miss a moment, an important moment like that. Sensor cleaning, we're going to turn it on when the camera switched off. That way it will vibrate the sensor and try to get rid of dust and particles, like that. So that's very simple. In color space, you can switch between sRGB and Adobe RGB. You can choose whatever works best for you. I'll leave it at sRGB. Guidance display off. Focus scale units, for me it's meters because that's how my brain works. Meters, kilometers, kilograms, but you can change it to whatever you want. The background color is going to be the theme of the camera. So in this case, I'm using silver, which really is just black and white. Preview exposure in manual mode, we're going to enable that. And again, you can format the card here, or you can change the file names as well. Alright, we're looking at the shooting menu, page number 1. And important to note that most of these settings right here only apply to your JPEG files. So if you're shooting RAW, most of these don't matter, but we'll talk about them anyways. For ISO, I like to select at least 400. That way you can get 200% dynamic range. If you have less than 400 ISO, this option right here will be grayed out, so keep that in mind. Image size, you can do large, and then from there you can select between 3:2 or 16:9. These are the aspect ratios that the camera offers, and I change these before I take the photo, not after. That way I'm being a bit more intentional about it. Image quality, I have it at fine, which is JPEG only, but you can do fine plus raw and have that backup in case you like to. The film simulations, you can change it here. However, I do have a more effective way to do it through the custom menu. I'll show you that later. No timer selected. The white balance, I have it at auto. However, if you do have custom simulation profiles, you'll have to change the red and the blue channels, and you can do so right here. Color, sharpness, highlight, shadows, and noise, again, only affect your JPEG files. But if you are shooting JPEG like me, then noise reduction, set it to -2. And the sharpness, it really depends on you. Are you planning to edit your files or not? If you're not, then leave it at standard. If you want to edit a little bit, just a little bit in that sharpening, then set it to -1. Continuing here, I don't do long exposure, so not worry about that. We have the menus, the custom menu selection, and we'll talk more about those later. The function button, we have one right here at the top of the camera, and we have another one right here, the down D-pad. So we can set them up here. The top one, I have it selected as an ISO because the camera does not have an ISO dial. And the second one is going to be a focus area selector as well. Display custom settings. This allows you to customize what settings you want to see in the LCD screen or the electronic viewfinder as well. For me, a must is the histogram. I always have to have that. Everything else can be optional, depends on what you like. The framing guideline, I have it selected at grid 9, and that really helps me compose and prepare my shots in advance. The adapter settings, this is for manual lenses, so you can select your correct focal length right here. And if you're using manual lenses like the 7 Artisan lenses, you need to enable shoot without a lens. Otherwise, the camera will not take the photo. Keep that in mind. The autofocus illuminator off, that is right here. And every time you take a photo, that will light up and give your location away. So make sure you disable that. The autofocus lock mode, I have it to select on when pressing only. And the actual button right here is going to be assigned to AF lock only. I don't use the flash, so I don't have that selected. The red eye removal off as well. This is very important. If you're using manual lenses, again, like the 7 Artisan lenses, then you need to enable AF plus MF. And right here, you can select the peaking options. Select it to high. That will make it a lot easier to really see what you're doing and what's in focus and what's not. Okay, we are ready to talk about custom settings, which makes your life so much easier, and it's very convenient to have it all in one place. This section is very similar from my X Pro 1 video, so I'm going to show you a little bit of that as well. We're going to go to the shooting menu number 3, or page number 3, and in there we have select custom settings and edit and save custom settings. We're going to edit some of these, and basically you have 7 options, 7 slots for presets. And you can modify all of these, save them, and have them ready at your disposal. Once you open that, you can see you have a couple settings you can modify. You can change your ISO, your dynamic range, your film simulation. In this case, I wanted, let's say, Astia. White balance, your color, I want to set this to -1. My sharpness to -1 as well. The highlight tone, I want to set it to +1. Shadow tone, I want to set it to +1, and my noise reduction to -2. So now that we finalized changing our custom profile, all you have to do is hit the back button and it will ask you if you want to save this. You hit OK, and that is literally all you have to do. When you're shooting, all you have to do is press your Q menu or your Q button right here, and you switch between your custom profiles from 1 all the way to 7. You hit OK, and that's it. You are ready to shoot. You're not wasting time going into the actual menu and then changing small things like your ISO or your image quality or your sharpness or your color. and then let's say you switch to monochrome or black and white and have to change the contrast or things like that. You don't waste time like this. Time is very important, especially when you're out and about taking photos in street photography. You want to be fast, you want to be able to capture the moment. That is the most important thing. So that is how I set up my X-E1 for street photography or documentary photography, to try to get everything I can in camera and to shoot with intentionality. As always, I'm curious to know, what do you think? Do you shoot JPEG only or RAW or both? How do you like to shoot? Share your thoughts in a comment down below. But that is it for today's video. If you found this video helpful or valuable, then please like, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram as well. And if you're looking for more videos like this, then check out some of these videos right here. Thank you, and good luck with your creative process.